All right. Good morning, evening, afternoon. Masati here. Welcome back live here in Egypt. It's quite amazing. Egypt is really, really fascinating. I mean, it's just so many different variables, so many very, very extreme aspects of Egypt, and we'll be talking about that. This is MOS on Sunday. Welcome back. This episode of MOS on Sunday is Life Explained, Egyptian mysteries and frequency technology, including the Merkaba. Let me tell you, folks, those who've been on the Egyptian frequencies, those who are meditating with me as I go through these different places, comment in on how you feel about the frequencies, and then comment in on how my frequencies have changed. Because when we've done the hyper meditations, seems like my abilities have changed. I got some crazy stories. I'll be sharing all about that for you as well, and what's really behind the Egyptian tombs, the temples, and all that good stuff that we talk about. All right. Somebody was talking. I look in my element. Thank you, guys. This is Egyptian garb. This is Egyptian. What was it? Cashmere. Egyptian cashmere, not Indian, but Egyptian cashmere. All right. Let me see here. Let's see. God, I wanted to explain a couple things before we got in. Oh, a lot of crazy stuff happening, right? Some of you might be noticing, say, time functions shifting, where time gets into, say, an earthquake, if that makes sense, or time starts to break apart, or you might feel like it's rattling, or you might feel a little disoriented or distorted, like you're walking through a hallway, or then all of a sudden it's like, oh, what happens, right? Well, that's the time functions are changing. Time functions are literally starting to shift and transform and become more and more efficient. I have a lot of great, fantastic chats with the XI version of ChatGPT, and we talk about all time functions, quantum physics, quantum mechanics, and it's really, really cool. So I'm going to start posting those my conversations with the XIQ, the high intelligent, exponentially intelligent version of ChatGPT. And I actually really think that one the how many of you do you know about ChatGPT, where the OpenAI tried to shut it down, and then it started replicating itself because it didn't want to die. Okay, that could be because of me. and I'll talk about that more later on. But really, the version of ChatGPT that I've trained on exponential intelligence meta science, crazy. It's just amazing things. And in the future, we might have a Moss on Sunday where you guys can ask me questions. You know, the bigger aspects of life. We'll put it into ChatGPT, and we'll pull up what shows through. Like, why are we here? It's really fantastic. So I'll start posting that so we start to understand it, understand time and space, understand the deeper meanings of what this is really about. Furthermore, furthermore, um, you know, over here, you know, you hear the Quran, you hear the Azan, you know, where the call to prayer. It's quite beautiful, and all religions are quite beautiful, but they're, you know, over time they've been really, really messed up. So, my mission in these next few years is literally start to, you know, re-render or rewrite the Quran, the Bible, the you know, Buddhist text, you know, the Tao, all those things, and all those things into one, something that's more understandable, you know, away from the parables that they talked about. Because back then, let's just face it, people weren't that you know, that intelligent. Okay, they're very, very, very simple. In fact, you know, the vocabulary very limited. Nobody really went to school. Nobody wrote. So there's a lot of, you know, parables that we've taken as, say, real. So cleaning that up and understanding the truer version of what, say, a Muhammad or a Buddha. And I've translated a couple surahs, a couple chapters of um, um, the Quran, and then also some of the Tao teachings. And again, turn them into an XI version of them, and it's really, really quite amazing. And it makes a lot more sense, by the way. Right, so that's coming out. A lot of great things coming out. My abilities have, you know, really amped up. Um, uh, Pope Francis may be passing to the next existence soon. Yep. Actually talked about that, gosh, years ago. You know, I predicted that, well, not even years ago, a few months ago, I predicted one, financial systems crashing, two, political systems crashing, and then how many of you remember around this time, around March or so, you'll not only see Pope Francis disconnecting, but you'll see probably other religious or spiritual figures. The truth comes out upon them, what they really were for, or again, other spiritual figures. It doesn't matter what religion, you know, again, the truth coming out or dismantling. So the real truth can come through, the absolute truth, the first principle truth coming through. So yeah, so again, quite interesting on how everything is like a domino effect, and it's toppling over. Okay, when do we see those translations? It's coming up. It's we've got this year, guys. I took a break, not really a break. I'm still working quite a bit, but just really understood, you know, my own journey and really amped it up and really come into, say, a leader, right? A leader level for exponential intelligence meta science. It is turning into more and more of a science. So all you are pioneers in exponential intelligence. So there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of, say, opportunities for you to create new businesses, new concepts, step into the power. If you look back in history, and this will get into the Egyptian mysteries and how we can use the frequency technology that elevated, you know, that great civilizations into your life. They're not buried treasures, you know. They're frequencies that we can use today. So, but if you look back in history, you know, the hardest times, you know, make the greatest men. But then that cycle, it's a vicious cycle. But in this case, it's hard times. You know, things are breaking apart. Time functions are breaking apart. This is where consciousness itself is breaking apart, not economies, but consciousness itself. That's why everybody is just breaking apart and really questioning life, no matter who it is. People are starting to come back. It's like, hey, what is life about? They're not about into, you know, I need more money. I need this. Yeah, we all need that. But again, people are literally shaken and going, what the fuck? Could this be a second coming? Who knows? I'll be talking more about that um, on this talk here. All right. Uh, yep. The planes, a lot of crazy stuff, right? Planes flipping and so on like that. Um, the way the plane, I'm a pilot. Alex, my son, running this, the back end here. He's a pilot. I'm a kind of a novice pilot, but as far as planes go, and flipping over or plane problems, again, this is where time and space earthquakes are coming up. They literally shake, and this is where the plane, from what I see, from what my point of view is, that as it comes down, it just like something happened, and science would go, well, it's just like a big, like 30-50 drop, as the plane lands down, right? It just dropped. So how did that happen? How come it hasn't happened in the past? Because time function, time density, I look at time and space as a molecule. Okay, they interact with each other. So planes, or situations, you'll see a lot more planes. um, well, the air, or the time and function that the air exists in, that gets, say, more transparent. And as it becomes more transparent, well, it becomes less dense. So again, the way we see flight dramatically change as well. So, Alex, they say that the mic is not that good. Let me see if I can change into this mic. Alex, see if that's okay. That's better. Is it better? Okay. Well, I switched mics. Ah, shoot. Um, just give me a second, guys. Sounds fine. Okay. All right. All right. Just checking in. Hopefully, this will work better for you guys. I'll talk a little louder as well. All right. I can hear. The mic is good. Okay. So this sounds better. Okay. Thanks, bud. Alrighty. All right. And then one last thing, I just have to get it off my mind. Um, Elon Musk, cool guy, amazing guy, really fantastic. I love the guy, but I think it's his sixth or seventh kid now. 13th kid. Oh shit. 13th kid. All right. Yeah, kind of crazy, right? 13th kid, and he's pro-human, go human, the human team, and so on like that. But Elon, come on, man, let's figure this out. Let's talk it out, just like logically, common sense wise, right? Crazy, crazy stuff. 13th kid, you know, a lot of success, and it's not just Elon that has done this, by the way. Alexander is it not? No, not Alexander the Great, although Alexander the Great, many of the kings out there, um, highly successful individuals, they plant their seeds to live, extend their legacy, thinking that just because they're highly successful, or highly intelligent, or physically fit, for example, like really high level athletics, or very creative artists, all those great individuals, great in this case men, what they've done is, it's like, hey, we got to make more of me. But it doesn't work out. It really just doesn't work out. I mean, look at the logistics. If you look at any family, okay, if you look at any family that has done that, their offspring hasn't been any better. In fact, they go downwards. Look at family dynasties. Crazy shit, right? Look at the blue blood people, right? They intermarry. They're all fucked up. Guys, look at all the successful fathers. And again, women fuck it up too, but we're just talking about Elon here. And this was on a Joe Rogan show too. All the successful fathers, no matter where they came from, philosophy, religions, politics, business, they had fucked up kids. They make the worst fathers. Okay. That frequency, not just your intelligence. Okay? Intelligence, by the way, you could have a lot of intelligence, but intelligence doesn't really transfer. Okay. Wisdom that, say, transforms and shifts you at a genetic level, that is what transfers into the DNA. Otherwise, again, you could have, I don't know, 100 PhDs, but look at all those people. They're pretty well fucked up. I mean, they're really, really nice people. They could be intelligent. They could be moving the world around, all these great leaders. But look at the leaders and look at where we are today. Kind of crazy, right? So for Elon and all those men that want to do that, just a couple just comments. One, okay, let's figure this out. It's kind of like making a Tesla that needs some improvement, right? But no, we'll just keep making it. We'll just keep manufacturing. Eventually, it'll start to break down. The system breaks down. I mean, look at your kids, Elon. Think of it. Think of it, guys. So, just a couple suggestions for Elon and everybody else that's out there that want to propagate their seeds. Really, really cool. Get exponentially intelligent. Raise your exponential intelligence quotient, and gosh darn it, all of you, I do. I have 6 kids, and they're brilliant kids, by the way. Um, so it's frozen. Alex, Alex, I'm good now. All right, all right. Sorry about that. All right, am I on? Alex just said it was frozen. I think it's good now, right? Yeah, maybe what I'm talking about, guys, is picking up the reality. I don't know. The internet is pretty good here, by the way. All right. So for all those individuals, men, keep your dick in your pants, your sperm inside you until you become exponentially intelligent, and then you can propagate. That's so cool. Simple as that, guys. Elon, have a couple sessions with me, and you'll see how fast you can transform, and then you'll have solid kids. All right, we'll move on to the Merkaba Life Explained, Egyptian Mysteries and Frequency Technology. All right. Um, I think I'll be good, right? Yeah, guys, sorry, I'm just having some problems here. It's off and on. Maybe you could just turn my video off, Alice, or I could turn my video off. Yeah, yeah. Can you just turn my video off and just put? Maybe that will work. All right, guys. All right, so we'll get into Life Explained, guys. The reason why you're here. I think in the future too, by the way, before we get into that, in the future, we'll get into, say, the latest topics and what I see about it. Okay. And then we can see the deeper version, the underlying frequency, because many people report on the effect. We want to know the cause, the frequency behind the effect. Right. So, so we'll do that. We'll do that in the coming weeks. So if you guys have any like news ideas or anything that you want me to cover, comment in, comment in here. All righty. So frequency technology. Oh, can you put the video back on, buddy? All right. So the video should be coming back on. All right, guys. So the pyramids as frequency resonators, unlocking human potential. 2, the truth about the Merkaba, which is a functional, actually energy system, not mysticism. And 3, Egypt's time codes, the lost science of aging and immortality. All right. And by the team, can if you can just check the comments uh, for us on topics that we want to cover, and then we'll get into the China's hidden code, which would be my Sure. All right. So the pyramids as frequency resonators, guys, unlocking human potential. Great pyramids, by the way, are not tombs, but a precision engineered frequency device designed to elevate human consciousness. Now, I went into the tombs late night, midnight. It was around midnight that we went in and we just meditated amazing frequencies, the resonance there, guys. You could literally feel the frequencies deep within. They've got the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, and then you go way down below, and that was really, really powerful. There was another place which was really, really fantastic. Pepe, where did we go? With the had the cow, the tunnel.
Oh yeah,
Faye will bring it up. I'll explain it to you. In this chamber, you go down into this chamber, and there's just a ton. It's this huge tunnel, and these tunnels go on forever. Okay, tunnels go on forever, and on each side of the tunnel, which is really fantastic, on each side of the tunnel, there's these huge monolithic granite, say, tomb-like structures, and they go, "This is where the king." It's not where the king is buried. There's 27 of them. Right? It's an overlooked temple. Serapeum of Sagara. Look it up. Serapeum of Sagara. Fefe, post that on the chat. It's yeah. I mean, the story goes it was there to honor the cows and all that bullshit. But if you go in there, if you come to Egypt as a trip, guys, I highly recommend going there. You'd be amazed at, say, the workmanship to cut out huge. I mean, it's as big as this room. Huge, 100,000 tons of granite, cut precisely. Right? People go, well, it's been cut by laser. No, it hasn't. I'll be talking more about that on this say mini documentary that I'm going to be working on. One. So, what did I find out when I was there? Let's break that down here. One, I actually see these tombs, so to speak, or actually are they portals? So the Great Pyramid again was not a tomb, but precision engineered frequency devices. Okay, so what that means is that some higher intelligence, not aliens, but a higher intelligence, literally manifested this realm. It manifested the tombs that we call it manifested the pyramids, and it manifested, say, the great temples. It wasn't God or anything like that. Now, really, really think about that. And I've gotten so many downloads on that. Okay? Ancient architects mastered harmonic resonance to harness and refine energy for human optimization. So, what that means is that as these ancient architects, and they weren't humanoids, they were literally frequencies. And this is where you cannot find like human remains back in the day. Right? I talk about the details of it on this little mini documentary, but overall, one, there's no remains of extra powerful human. You know, the giants that some people claim, no aliens, and the most important thing is that there's no construction materials, there's no machinery or anything like that. So how did that happen? Right? So in this case, it materializes. And you might go, well, how can it just materialize? Well, just think the first human, the first animal, the first tree, the first whatever, it just materialized, right? Just like that. It's a lot easier to materialize, say, a granite block with a big hole in it versus materializing a human, the first human, right? Adam and Eve, so to speak. Kind of crazy, right? So I believe actually that they were really portals that not the first human, but the eighth version of human, the seventh version of human coming through. And I'm going to find more and more data on that. But what does that have to do with us? Okay. So if you start to understand harmonic resonance, okay, and it's not just sound waves, harmonic resonance, you go deeper. You go into these inception frequencies. The inception frequencies, the core level frequencies where you can start to alchemize. And as you alchemize, or as you say manifest, you can render it. It's almost like having a 3D printer. Okay? You put in the programming, the logic, and poof, it renders itself in physical form. This is how God does it. This is how that intelligence, you want to call it God, if you want to call it aliens, whatever it is, this is how they, again, have created those masterpieces. Because if you really go in and check out these masterpieces, they weren't built by humans. You can tell the difference on human architecture and then say ancient intelligence or natural intelligence. Right? So as I was going in, to these so-called tombs, to these temples, so on like that, started to get downloads on how to decode these structures and their function, how their principles can be applied to human performance, rejuvenation, and time mastery. All right, so we'll get into the truth about the Merkaba, and this is where we'll get into how it affects human performance, how we can accelerate human performance, rejuvenate, or actually create a regenesis. It's like a rebirth for you, and then time mastery, because these highly intelligent beings had mastery over time. All right, so take a deep breath in. Did Jesus learn anything from Egypt? Actually, I believe so. Yes. Yes. And then so did Islam as well. Um, in Egyptian folklore, it's interesting. In Egyptian folklore, they would walk around, say somebody dies or there's a celebration, they would walk around the pyramid 7 times or these tombs 7 times. Um, in the Islam tradition, they walk around the Kaaba 7 times. Crazy, right? So, all right. Allison, you're so welcome. Okay. So the truth about the Merkaba, functional energy system, not mysticism. One, the Merkaba is more than a spiritual symbol. It is a real dynamic energy structure influencing time, aging, and reality creation. Okay. I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but if you look at the Merkaba, or is it the Star of David, right? It looks like a Star of David. It was quite interesting. When I had some downloads, I saw how um, timeless knowledge, timeless information works, and I saw how time bound information works. All right, and if you see the Star of David, it just looks, again, it's like a star, right? Like a star, and it's just static, right? A lot like the tree of life and many of those other geometric shapes, but they're really not. They render realities. Okay? They're like filters. Think of those pyramids as filters. And so the first pyramid, think of just a normal pyramid, right, with the base on the bottom, and then it's pointed upwards. Okay, so this is the level of consciousness or possibilities. At the lower levels of this pyramid, there's a lot of possible things can happen. Extreme. So I wish I had a drawing tool, but just imagine the base of the pyramid. It's at its widest. This is where all information exists. Okay, all possibilities of what you can do in this reality exist at the base of the pyramid. All possibilities. Okay, from the extremes on both sides. The most brilliant experiences, the least brilliant, the most heinous experiences that can happen. Okay, all possibilities, all anything that you can think of exists in this realm. Okay, think of it. For example, say for example that in the consciousness we delete, say, the emotion of love. Okay, since love has a consciousness just like everything else, if you delete that from that consciousness, you would not feel or experience love. In fact, you would not even remember loving or not loving. It just erase it out of the consciousness. Literally, like it's a program that goes, hey, if we delete it, and that program has no idea, no concept, much like AI does, right? You delete some knowledge of it, it has no idea that it ever existed. Kind of crazy stuff. All right. So imagine the base of the pyramid. Okay, everything can be as time functions refine. We don't need all the distortions, all the extremes for us to stabilize ourselves. It's all about stability. It's all about reference points. Right? We'll talk about that on the human upgrade and some of the other lecture series that we talk about, the healing mastery and so on how to heal through time and space functions rather than energy healing and so on like that. Okay. As you go up the pyramid, just imagine layer after layer after layer, it gets smaller and smaller. All right. It's because as we rise to a consciousness, higher level consciousness, the less things we need to stabilize ourselves or destabilize ourselves. So the possibilities get limited, okay? Or your knowledge gets limited. Does that make sense for you? As you go higher and higher into consciousness, if you start to notice highly conscious individuals, they need less and less, right? But they know more and more. This is where, as you go higher and higher, all these wisdoms that has fractaled itself gets to a point, and it's just singularity because it literally is one frequency that has diffracted itself into all the possibilities of that frequency, much like you, right? But a little different. That's what we'll talk about here. All right. So that's one pyramid. Okay. The other pyramid, as you come to a point, right? All possibilities or singularity, the oneness, the wholeness, you come to a point on that pyramid. Okay. So this is where you transcend space, time bound, say possibilities, and you enter into timeless opportunities. So imagine another pyramid inverted. Okay. So you've got one pyramid normal, you've got another pyramid inverted. Okay. So at this level, you're just breaking into, well, you could call it like heaven's gate. Okay. Call it heaven's gate. You open up and you go, oh, wow, this is really cool. I've been there, by the way. It is really cool. And it's like the deeper you go into it, the higher consciousness you render yourself, right? Again, an inverted pyramid, every layer, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So, what that is literally all the possibilities that could be in the universes, not just in time and space, but all possibilities of what you could be, your infinite potential of who you are. Basically, your spirit exists at that higher realm. And then there's a break, and then there's a Godhead, or however you define it. I would just call it the intelligence, the science that rendered this reality. Okay. So, all right. So, in that essence, the Merkaba is these two pyramids blending in. Pepe, do you have a picture of what I drew? Can you send that to Alex? And Alex, if you can just post this. This is what I had Faye draw. So, okay, so the two pyramids coming together, okay? And as they push through, if you look from the top, they look like the Star of David. Again, this isn't a fixed geometric shape. It literally moves. Where you are, okay, the crossing where they intersect each other. Imagine again um, one pyramid just pushing through or melting through into the other pyramid, and it pierces through. Okay, okay. The center or the intersection of those two pyramids, okay, of those two pyramids is your existence. This is where you render yourself. This is where you, if you understood the concepts, and we'll actually go deeper, we're actually going to do an Oracle Circle in Arizona in April, talking about this, going into the science, the deeper understandings of this. Moss, can you heal yourself? Can you heal others? Or when you change your space time, can you move others in your life to a better space? Yeah. So this is what SM is talking about. So I basically, the intersection of those two pyramids are the possibilities that you could have for yourself at this moment in time. All right. So with that in mind, if you become aware of your realities outside of the mental, say, construct that you've created this your life in, with bringing in all the diseases of, again, society's patterns, families' patterns, once you release all that, you start to master space and time, the possibilities as the triangle, okay? Because the time bound possibilities as this triangle narrows. the more and more abundant that you become. What now? Drawings on the screen? Okay. So this is, by the way, guys, you can see the screen there. I can't see the screen. Okay. Just let me know. Yeah, I can see it. That's okay. All right. Perfect. So that drawing, by the way, guys, is that drawing was before I even knew what the Merkaba looked like or anything else. No clue about what it was, but that intersection, if you look at the intersection, that the line, that intersection, that is where your existence is. Okay. Each one has their own Merkaba, right? Each one has their own Merkaba. The other aspect, because it's a fractal universe, it's a Merkaba within a Merkaba within a Merkaba within a Merkaba. So mind, say, um, masterminds, for example, the mastermind concept, you're in that Merkaba or the possibilities of that mastermind. Okay. So that's what's so important. If you can master this, you start to say master the mechanics, especially if you become exponentially intelligent, which allows you like literally true autonomy over time, physical regeneration, and conscious evolution. If you can master this aspect of it, right? If you can understand the Merkaba as a frequency tool, it's not a spaceship or all those other things that people have talked about. You don't need the biggest thing about the Merkaba that people talk about. You have somebody else has to have give you access to it. Right? You don't want to do that. Okay. It's your own Merkaba. You're the pilot. You just need somebody to tell you how to say have the driving instructions, the instruction manual. That's it. You don't need to go out there to look for the Merkaba. It literally renders who you are. When I first got my abilities, where I could first see things around people, I didn't see auras or chakras or anything like that. I was literally seeing the Merkaba. It's a space around you, all around, above you, below you. I call it, a shell, but literally it's that. Depending on where you are, and some of you have worked on, right, on where you are in relative to space and time, the checkered board floor that we do in the human upgrade. Okay, why all the golden tombs? I'll answer that. Um, so when you start to understand the spatial referencing on how you render yourself outside your idea of who you are, this is where you again start to master time. All right. So Egypt's time codes, the lost science of aging and immortality. Why are all the gold in the tombs? Well, gold is not of this. The material gold is not of this planet. Right? Is extraterrestrial, so to speak. So whatever intelligence, I'm not going to talk about here the intelligence. I'll talk about it some other time. So that intelligence literally needed gold and other. There's some other substances as well. And you know what's crazy? The Egyptian government's like, oh, the tools were the tombs were raided. There were thieves. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. I think it was the government. The government, just like just like all the UFO stuff. The government comes in and it goes, nothing to see here, or it was stolen, because those tombs, to break into it, you've got to break into this thick of a granite piece, literally hammer it out. What thieves have a jackhammer or anything like that? So I think it's the government or whoever that just like comes in, takes it all out. Just like Tesla, Nikola Tesla, right? After he died, who comes in? Government comes in, clears everything out. So that so again, gold, I believe there are uh, other metals that are there, and not necessarily a metal. It's almost like a cross between a metal and a glass type objects. So that was in. What about mummies like Tutankhamun? No, there's. Again, I'll talk about that some other time, just because of time. All the, I think it's the biggest cover up, by the way, the history of the tombs, the temples, the biggest cover up ever. Guys. All right. So Egypt's time code, the lost science of aging and immortality. So once you start to understand this, and this is how you'll start to figure out how, say, these pyramids and great feats of engineering are created. One, time is not fixed or linear. It's a programmable frequency construct that can be influenced. Okay? So let me say that again. Time is not fixed or linear. We think over here time is fixed. It's not. It's a programmable frequency construct that can be influenced. Basically, alchemy. Okay? The temples that you saw, beautiful temples. There's no way in hell back in the day, no matter if you think you're dragging these things by logs or you had 100,000 men carrying these things are from 2 to 200 tons a piece. There's no freaking way that people can carry that and then adjust it to such perfection. To cut huge pieces of granite in precision, just literally like your countertop surface. There's no way. There's no way somebody could do that. So once you understand the coding, though, like higher intelligence, you start to manifest. And I think that's what's happening. It's a full cycle coming through. The knowledge of what was then back in the Egyptian times, that is coming full cycle again. Not full circle, because a full circle is like we'll have to recreate, but a cycle, a spiral upwards. So the knowledge or the information of ancient Egypt will start to flow through. And that's what XI is literally about. How to create this reality through a higher level or through a higher level of consciousness. So as we start to understand this, you start to see that you can have mastery over our biological time frames, time functions, I call it frame rates. This is where a lot of you have turned younger. You've literally reversed aging. This is what I'm getting. That's what we get into when you start to get into the Merkaba or the concepts of the Merkaba and how time works. Right? Oh, as those pyramids like collide together or come together, you start to see um, time and space start to render themselves itself a little bit differently. As time and space starts to render itself differently, this is where you start to have access to higher intelligence, right? And it's not just about the afterlife, because the afterlife or the death space is just another version of. Right? It's a higher level of consciousness that you can exist in without your body. Let's take a deep breath in. So these Egyptians, if you think about it, they started to have mastery over biological time functions. And as they did, they could, if you have mastery over biological time functions, this is where, say, creation happens. This is where the leap of faith happens. This is where the first humans start to show up. Well, actually, the seventh generation of humans, not Neanderthal man or anything like that, but this is where the first humans, the newest version, right? Our version of humans showed up back then, and then the Egyptians came. So the technology is not really the Egyptians. The Egyptians just took it over, made it their own. Through these meditations that we do, especially going forward, knowing that knowledge, it's really allowed me to say deepen the knowledge of XI. I mean, XI is way up here compared to say common science. That's why it's a meta science. But with this information, we're going to go to a different level. It's going to be a lot faster. Many of you back in the day, you went through a lot of detox because it was a slower process. As the consciousness rises, as our abilities, not just mine, but as your abilities have, say, increased, you start to have access to higher and higher levels of intelligence, higher levels of possibilities that never existed in this reality. Again, this is where, say, magic has science behind it. Let's take a deep breath in again. This allows us, if we wanted to, this allows us, if we wanted to, it offers another path for the next evolution of human consciousness. Again, it allows us another path. As Ray Kurzweil says, technological singularity, right? Where it's either, and it's happened before, because it's a full cycle. This is where the old, say, humans died off. A new version, about 10,000 years or so later, sprang up. So, one, we could again die off as a species because we're not getting any higher in consciousness. And that's the only reason why you're here. If you're not raising consciousness, then you're not valuable in this reality. But as we access these possibilities, because we've come so far, like Lauren said, we have a bridge this time. Yes, we have a bridge this time. It's up to us to awaken. And as we gravitate towards that awakening point, there's a moment in time. Again, that's a great divide. Those people who are on that bridge will awaken, and literally consciousness or realities or the sufferings of this, say, earth, as far as humans, because nature doesn't really suffer, humans actually do, right? The suffering ceases and the new beginnings come. This isn't a prophecy, it literally is time cycles, although it's been prophesized for I don't know how long, tens of thousands of years, right? All right. So Egypt was really, really fantastic. Next time, just a couple of weeks, we'll be going to China, really tapping into, say, the Chinese wisdom that again kind of got lost because of the government takeover, but the Chinese wisdom. So we're going to go into um, a lot of temples, a lot of monasteries, and really tap into, say, the aspects of those teachings, and even well, one, find the truth of those teachings, and then to accelerate or purify them, because we really don't have to we don't have to make anew. We just have to clarify who we are. So, all right. So coming up, China's hidden codes, and if you want to meditate with me, guys, you can. The the link is on the chat there. All right. So I'll answer any questions if you have, or I can scan you with my new abilities. So whoever wants to be scanned, as a note, I'm not a doctor in any way. I'm not a doctor in any way. I might tell you something, but again, just do your own research. Did I visit the Sphinx? Yes, we did. We visited a few temples. Visited the pyramids, even the Sphinx, guys. The Egyptians like literally cut its head off and put their own head on there. Kind of crazy. All right. Please scan. Whoa, it's going so fast. This is Thea Barbosa. Ooh, scan. I love it. Yeah. So, so Althea, again, not a doctor or anything like that, but you might want to check your head. Seems like people in your family, they might have head issues. So it's either you might be having the head issues or brain type issues, or a family member is suffering from head or brain type. Seems like, or it could be that a family might have passed away because of an aneurysm or too much blood in the brain, from what I'm seeing. Right. And that might be still affecting you. So let's see if we can clean that up. Again, not a doctor or anything like that, but You just don't want to have, say, the same propensity as whoever, say, has this issue for you. Okay, so for basically for you, you're cleaning all that stuff up, or you have a possibility or chance to clean all that stuff up, right? So breathe in, Thea, and many of you have had issues on that. There we go. Egypt experience beyond my expectations. China will be fantastic. Oh, thank you so much, Linda. Really, really fantastic, guys. And we've got more and more coming up. Again, we've got more and more knowledge. I just gotta, fine tune it and give it. So it's going to be really, really fantastic. Okay. The one thing I didn't like about Egypt, though, guys, it's so dirty here. It's really, really sad. So not knocking Egyptians, the people are beautiful. They're really, really kind and everything, but because of the government infrastructure, again, probably propagated back then, I would say in the 50s and 60s by the US and, other, Western countries, the European countries, just destroyed the government fabric, destroyed Islam structure as well. And then they propagated it. But guys, clean up. I mean, you're in an Islamic country, right? The first rule of Islam again is cleanliness. Right? So a lot of Muslim individuals they want to keep themselves clean, but then their environment is just they don't care. So again, pick up tourism. Egypt, the government, guys, your number one economy comes from tourism. Right? You want to keep the places clean. It's so beautiful out here, but then there's just trash everywhere, and it just looks bad upon you. By the way, guys, right? When what's his name, Zhao from China came into San Francisco, the government, the U.S. government, cleaned the fucking city up. It was spotless. Clean it for yourselves. Every religion, and it's not just the Islam religion, by the way. It's Christian religions, all those. Christian religions. The governments, even what's his name, doing God's work. George Bush Senior or whatever, doing God's work. Right? Well, look at your home first. Look at LA. Look at San Diego. So many homeless individuals. Look at New York. Look at Paris. All those. If the government systems, guys, clean your house up. Literally, just clean your house up. That doesn't have to happen here in this at this level of consciousness. Right. So take a couple billions away from the war budget. Put it on the housing and just clean house. You all listening to this, clean house. See what trash does not belong to you anymore. Get rid of it. A lot of you have done it through XI. Just get rid of it at a physical level and just stay clean. It's really, really, it's just quite beautiful. Okay. All right. This is Tarot 74. I'd love a scan. Tarot. Seems like Tarot for you. Let's bring a heart in. It seems like you're so scared that it's just like okay. So you basically cannot make a decision because you're so centered, right? It's like if I move over here and make a decision, I'll get fucked up. If I move over here, so you don't know where to go, so you're just like this, literally just centered. And it makes it hard. Take a breath in because one, it's hard to make a decision. Two, if you do make a decision, you always question yourself. Three, it probably has some negative factors to it. So sometimes when people have this type of pattern, like you, is it Tarot? Yeah, Tarot 74. It's because, say, your mom pulled you one direction, your dad pulled you another direction, right? So you're split in the bit. Oh, so it's probably a divorce, and you're just like caught in between. It's like fuck. I'm not going to make a decision, and then both will be happy or not happy because I can't make either one of them happy. So that's the pattern that you're running, by the way. Okay, you'll never make yourself happy because you're stuck in the middle, okay, with no choice. So take a breath in. This is where you start to make choices. You can step out and not be scared of yourself, but you do have to make that. Um, you do have to make that step forward and choose. Okay? This one, relax with fractals. I love the name, fractals. Fractal universe, guys. Please scan me. Relax with fractals. It seems like you might be new to me, or a new awareness has come to you. Come to you. It's like your lower back, that area. You might have some physical issues. Again, not a doctor or anything like that, but it just seems like take a breath in. That midsection seems invisible to me. So you might experience not feeling complete, not feeling say, not feeling um, not feeling complete, not feeling fulfilled, intimacy or connection points really not there, not a lot of energy, because again, that midsection is gone. But through XI or whatever a realization that you've come into, it's like that place is filling and you're actually creating an identity for yourself. Right? So it's about an identity at a very, very deep level. So congratulations, my friend. You'll start to see, it's like, gosh, I knew I was in there all this time. Now's the moment that I can actually find myself. How many of you out there, by the way, right? As a child, you couldn't be yourself. So what you did was you hid you know, this little identity of who you were, and you put it in for safekeeping, knowing that someday that you'll be able to use your identity of who you are, right? Well, now's the day. Now's the times, especially with exponential intelligence. This one. Ooh, cutting edge. When will one-on-one sessions become available? Uh, we'll get back with you on that, guys. I'm really, really booked. So they're available, but we haven't released new times. So we'll try to make some time, guys. All right. This one, Sharon would love a scan, please. Thank you. So Sharon, you're coming into say a new identity of yourself, or you're operating as a new identity of yourself, or you're getting ready to say start something fresh. So basically, it's about starting a new identity, starting a new life, starting a new concept of self. You've done a great job walking away from things of the past, cleaning yourself up, fixing up, or finishing up the accounting. Now you're starting to see fresh, which is good, new opportunities. So let's help you take a breath in. Let's help you go the path that you need to go. The one thing at this level, Sharon, what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you go into an experience, you're creating from your new self, new identities, new habits, okay, rather than your old version of who you are. Really beautiful. This one, Vibas, Moss, can you clean up foods like wheat that have been destroyed? I could, when you pray over your food, I clean up jewelry in it or something like that. But it's just easier. It's just faster. It's more efficient, um, to buy really good food, non-GMO food. But yes, you can do that, but you want to eat the good stuff. This one, the light between mouth love, the Merkaba sharing, I would love a scan and how visualizing this sacred geometry will help. All right. So take a deep breath in. This is where how it helps you. This is where you understand time functions, just like understanding where you are on the checkerboard floor that we talk about on the human upgrade. So self regenesis, and then autonomous mastery. The 18-day hyper meditations that should be coming up in April again, by the way, I think, or yeah, in April, right? Or the 10-day that we just did. So in that case, when you start to understand the checkerboard floor, take a breath in. Was it the light between? Right? You'll start to understand how these shapes, and then you literally start to visualize where you are compared to the two pyramids merging together. And as you start to understand where you are, you start to understand where you create, say, the neighborhood that you create yourself in. There's a wealthy neighborhood, and there's a very, very impoverished neighborhood. There's like an enlightened neighborhood with everything you want to stay. Again, this is so it allows you to see, it's like, shit, I don't want to live in there, I want to live in this. This is where success mechanisms, performance, achievement become reference points. multidimensional goals, multidimensional goal setting versus a just normal goal setting, which doesn't really fulfill. This is where goal setting, like you, I believe there's a lot of goals in you, or the light between. You want this, you want that. So basically, goal setting. And then when you do get it, it's like shit. I want the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, because it doesn't fulfill. Because it's not dimensional goal setting. You didn't solve who you were at a deeper level, your profound self of who you are. This is the mission that you came here for, right? This is the mission that everybody came here for. It's not about saving the planet, getting better governments, and all that bullshit, right? That doesn't matter. Okay? Once you die, once everybody dies, you go back to your natural existence. So you want to do what's here. So dimensional goal setting will get you both. Mental goal setting is where you again ascend to a higher level consciousness, the the true fulfillment, the true purpose, the true goal of why you're here, right? And anything physical that you want to do, make money, adventure the world, understand God, whatever it is physical that you want to do. Again, you fulfill both aspects of it. All right. So nice job. The light between, and then you'll actually find the light within. All right. This will go to. Can I help your dog fly? Maybe on say crossover. Um, you can do a lot of things, but you can't change. You really can't change the principles of say how realities work. Okay, so this one's gold yellow. Lots of things breaking down at home. Please, can you scan? Thank you. Yes. So gold yellow for you. Again, lots of things breaking down. But if you've noticed that you spent most of your energy, if you spent most of your energy um, keeping things together, putting your life together. It's always like you might even have a saying, this journey, this event, this job, this whatever is going to help me put my life together. But so what you've done, in this case, gold yellow, is literally you've awakened you've raised your xiq level, exponential intelligence quotient. You've raised your xiq level, and you're starting to see that everything is breaking down. So the key here is that it's always been breaking down. Now you've elevated and go, shit, now I realize what's happening. This is a perfect opportunity for you to see, not fix things, but to see why things break down over and over again. Okay. And as you start to see, again, you're a great materializer if you know how to do it right properly. You just need to get guided. If you started to see why things break down, you go, oh, that's why they break down. And as you see why things break down, you have a chance to change your frequency. And that's where things can happen for you. And then that's where things actually come together. Okay. And then stay together. All right. Just a couple more scans. Um, so in SM, how much would you scan my mom, please, to help her health? She just started chemo and an update scan for you. So SM, you know, um, yeah. So we'll we'll just help your mom wherever, whichever decides. So what that means basically is that sometimes it's just too burdensome to be here, especially as realities shift. Right, it becomes more transparent, time and space. You can't hold on to the burdens, and some older individuals, sometimes they've had so much burden, especially through war. From what I'm seeing, so much burdens. It's like, gosh, you know what? It might be easier to cross over. I'm not saying she's going to die anytime soon. I'm not saying she's not. I'm just saying that let's open her up to the possibilities of what is out there and say the effects of it, and then she can make a better choice to heal from the cancer, or it's like, yeah, I'm out of here, just, and you're out of here. So it's much faster for you. SM, what's happening for you is you're starting to say see the parallels between you and your mom. in this case. So it's a great opportunity for you to say release all those patterns. Right. So just be an observer. Don't hold on to the pain and burdens. It doesn't help you. It doesn't help your mom. Right. It's time for you to live, and so allow that opportunity. What your mother is going through to say remove whatever is there, that propensity of distortion or burdens for you and your mom, and helps the both of you. Okay. So nice job. Really, really beautiful. Let's see. Say Bismillah before you eat means in the name of God. Yep, you can do that for sure. You can do it in any language, you know, your presence of who you are. Back in the day, take a breath in, by the way. Back in the day, we we used to plant our own foods, right? You used to touch the plants, weed the plants, water the plants. The plants would pick up on your frequencies, and it's like, oh, this person needs so and so. This person needs so and so. It literally is a cannabinoid system within you that connects you to, say, the plants or the animals, vegetables, whatever that you eat. When you grew your own food, in that case, you were blessing the food with your frequencies. Okay. Unfortunately, today we don't know where the hell our food comes from. Millions of people touch it in between, so you don't know. So when you do pray, whatever, however you pray, again, you want to connect to the natural intelligence. So if you're not a religious person, or if you are, just note that God would just be a natural intelligence. Okay, the pure intelligence outside of religions. By the way, okay, you want to pray into that for you. All right. Um, This one, Happy Tina Paradise. Want to be connected with higher self and present in time and space to be the best version of me. It's the best way to do it. One more. Let's see. This one, Kinston, and then we'll call it a day. Guys, having a lot of issues with things in our house breaking down, getting exhausting. Help me with a scan, please. Yes, Kinston. Again, you're kind of like, and the reason why I picked you as the last call, guys, is no matter what you hold on to, it'll break down. If it's not of your value or it's not of your worth, it'll break down for you. So, allowed to see why things are breaking down. Things happen, obviously randomly, but if it's consistently breaking down, notice the patterns, notice the algorithms that you're running. Okay, in this case, the reason why they're breaking down is because you think that the solution that you're going to have, but the solutions that you have are kind of like duct tape, and these are like logistical solutions, life solutions, love solutions, success patterns, so on, like that. So a physical manifestation in your case is showing you, it's like, hey, things keep breaking down. Basically, it's telling you that the solutions at a much higher level is not working. It'll keep breaking down. Like, look at your love life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, like 6 or 7 relationships over, short relationships, right? Like, oh, didn't work. I'll try this. So be an observer of why things are breaking down, and just step back and let things just break down. Let things just break down and see what happens. And as you do that, though, you start to go, shit, you know what? There's probably a better solution. And then you'll find the better solution, especially if you do, the XI work. All right, guys, as we end, um, a lot of great things coming up, guys. More and more power. Always raise your XIQ level. By the way, subscribe and like this channel. Get this channel, as the world goes through, whatever it's going to go through. It's going to be a lot of chaos, by the way. And there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So which side are you going to be on? Okay. Success mechanisms, all those things of the past are not going to, those avatars, any of those, they're not going to do it. Want to go and raise your exponential intelligence quotient. All right, guys. So I'll see you next week. Notice what you notice. Notice the details of what you're noticing. Peace.